York, everybody. Who misses Walter Payton? Well, I'm sure a lot of Bear fans do, but Neil Anderson has stepped in nicely this afternoon. He has scored 2 touchdowns, 17-6, as the Packers miss an extra point. And look at Anderson get in for that second score, Dick.
Well, you know, Ed Hughes, maybe when that chewing out the offensive line did a little good. It took him a little while to kick in, but that second quarter, I mean, it was dominated by the Bears.
Yeah, well, the Packers expected to use some kind of an unusual alignment with their linebackers, using 6 linebackers. So I think it took that offensive line a few minutes to readjust and pick up their blocking schemes, and now it's just old-fashioned Bear power football.
Or if we get an update on the Browns, they have just scored a touchdown in that big showdown in Cincinnati. 17-10, Bengals lead. No Boomer Esiason has not yet thrown a touchdown pass. Pittsburgh and Buffalo, but Brister has, and the Steelers lead the Bills 14-13. New England, Houston, Cody Carlson coming back after that miserable showing of a week ago, 6 of 11, 125 yards. Philadelphia and Minnesota, fabulous showing here by Randall Cunningham. A quick kick, that's right, and not just any quick kick, 58 yards. Cunningham unloads it. Then the Eagle defense holds the Vikings, they punt, and Cunningham leads the Eagles back down to the go-ahead touchdown. Hits his favorite target. Here he is, Mike Quick for the quick 6, and the Eagles lead it, Dick.
Brent, in pro football, you don't really see a quick kick a lot. And what that tells me is that Buddy Ryan really has faith in his defense. So let Cunningham kick the darn thing and get the defense in there and stop him.
Well, the strategy worked pretty well. You know, Buddy, last week against the Redskins, in the second half, he felt the Eagles were playing the kind of defensive football he demands from them. So he relies heavily on that defense. The strategy worked, got the touchdown.
Indianapolis relying on a kicker by the name of Biasucci. He's kicked 4 field goals in the first half. They lead the Dolphins 12-7. Jets, as expected, over the Lions, 10-3 at the half. New Orleans, likewise, on Tampa Bay, 13-6 at the half. Atlanta, Dallas, this was a marvelous game. Chris Miller, he suffered this indignity in the early going. Deflected pass. Danny Noonan just waltzes in for the Cowboys. That made it 7-0. Then it was 14-0 before Miller lit a fire. First, he goes downtown to Stacey Bailey. This is 68 yards for the touchdown, and it was 14-7. Miller was not finished. He'd fire another scoring strike. This one to Floyd Dixon from 12 yards out. After the extra point, it was tied at 14.
Oh, what's the deal here? Last week he goes to Minnesota. Carter has a heck of a game against the Bears. This week, Miller in Atlanta. I think the Lions want you.
No, you know, I am the NFL today's good luck charm. If you want to win, let me do a feature on you.
Yeah, let's see you do it with the Lions.
Yeah, that'll be a test.
The NFL Today continues after these messages from your local stations.
This is CBS.
Okay, Alex will now do his famous dog impersonations. Grab a stroll light and relax. Ready, Alex? All right, who's this?
Rin Tin Tin.
Decorator.
Look at this. Tramp, my 3 sons.
Right. This is my favorite.
Benji. Oh, I don't know how he does it.
It's amazing.
Stroh-Lite, fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste.
No, here he comes. What? Who's that supposed to be?
Beats me.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. I believe in the advantages of the electric heat pump. So will you when you talk to this heat pump specialist.
Your home's heating system may need a winter tune-up. An electric heat pump delivers a steady, even heat that's safe and clean.
Plus, you can save up to 50% on your winter fuel bills with up to 3 times the efficiency of an old-fashioned furnace.
The electric heat pump, it heats, it cools, and it saves.
For all your auto repair needs, see Mann's Corvette Shop on Fur Road in Mishawaka. Mann's does it all. Collision jobs, body repairs, and mechanical work on all cars, foreign and domestic. Of course, Mann's specializes in fiberglass repairs for autos, but also boats, planes, bathtubs, hot tubs. You name it, we can do it. We can do it here or at your location. With 24 years experience, no matter how difficult the job, Mann's can fix it up. Mann's Corvette Shop, Fur Road, north of McKinley in Mishawaka.
Rhonda Brown has your weather tonight at 10.
back to our New York studio on this doubleheader Sunday. We're going to find out how Mark Rypien does as the Washington Redskin quarterback down in Phoenix. And Dick, meanwhile, San Francisco's got a tough one up in Seattle.
Well, I was talking to Chuck Knox this week, you know, about these statistics on pressures and hurry-ups that they keep against quarterbacks, and he told me of an interesting stat that he has. He has a stat called hit nobodies. And I said, what the heck is that? He says, that's when nobody hits anybody. So I guess last week against San Diego, they had a lot of them guys.
Well, I tell you, San Francisco's going to be concerned about trying to hit not only ball carriers, but also cover on pass defense, too, because last week against Atlanta, their inside linebackers did a lousy job in pass coverage, and they'll feel the heat today.
Well, Irv, many of the fans are going to see the unbeaten Rams clash with the New York Giants. Now, it's been 2 decades since Los Angeles was led by its fearsome, foursome defensive line. These days, it's the offensive line that does a lot of the battering for the Rams. And Dick tells us what makes this fivesome so particularly fearsome.
It doesn't matter who lines up at tailback, whether it's an all-pro such as Eric Dickerson, a journeyman like Charles White, or this year, Greg Bell. The Ram line opens the holes that keep the 100-yard games coming.
You got 5 guys who have confidence in their own individual strengths and qualities. Jackie Slater, Duval Love, Doug Smith, Tom Newberry, Irv Pankey. When they get down in the three-point stands, they see people across them that are physically capable of stopping them. But mentally, I think these guys are strong enough to say, I'm not going to allow them to stop what I got to do today.
Back when I played, offensive linemen were considered wimps. I mean, they used a technique we call the old pushy-wushy. But this Ram front 5 is different. Even though they play in L.A., their approach is anything but laid back.
We're looking for a guy that plays offense like a defensive player. Back years ago, the offensive lineman was kind of a passive guy, you know, and he was the guy that tried to hold them off instead of go get them. You know, we try to sell, go get them, you knock them down, and don't try to just hold the fort.
Mitch Robinson puts an awful lot of emphasis on us being aggressive and us being the key people in our offense, and we sort of take pride. There's a thing that's been building since he's been here about us as a group being one of the better, more dominant groups in pro football.
There's a camaraderie between the linemen that says, hey, when we run the ball, we want to be physical, and we want to knock people down. We don't want to just push them a little bit and let go. We want to knock them down on the ground, and we want to dominate them and wear them down in that part of the game. So when it comes time for them to pass rush, they're going to be tired.
Stamina is not the only secret of their success. There's also teamwork and timing.
Those 5 guys play as almost a separate team within the team. And when one guy messes up, the whole thing is for that play is done. You know, so I mean there's a lot of counting on each other to get the job done every play.
And when the job is done, the average fan only sees a running back basking in the glory of the end zone. The linemen never score the 6 or spike the ball.
When you know you've got your guy kind of whipped, would that be like a personal good feeling?
Oh yeah, it's very rewarding when you see a guy who's a real good talent, physical guy, go from standing up and really taking you on and keeping his head up to ducking his head and trying to keep him getting blown off the ball. And that's rewarding. It doesn't happen too often, but when it does, it is rewarding.
Brent, those guys are going to do some whipping today, and I got to go with the Rams because of their defense. 21 sacks, lead leaders. Go get them.
Great defense. You know, one of the things that they have going for them, Dick, is the fact they have 5 linebackers on the field, and no one in the league yet has figured out that defensive scheme yet. The reason for it is that Mark Giroux plays over the nose, hits the center, bounces back as a linebacker sometimes. Other times he goes as a pass rusher. So you never know where he's going to be.
You like the Rams, too?
I like the Rams, too, sure.
Nice to see you two agree. Now let's send you back to the stadium and the first game you're enjoying on CBS.
Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggets back here at Soldier Field. The Chicago Bears leading the Green Bay Packers 17-6 at halftime. And Dan, a complete turnaround from one quarter to the other. The 2 turnovers hurting Chicago in the first quarter, and then they completely dominated the Pack in the second.
Well, that's exactly. The first quarter was a story of field position for the Bears. They came in. They didn't get real good field position. As a result, Green Bay was really on top in the first quarter. But the second quarter, boy, I tell you what, the Bears came on live offensively and defensively. And a result of that is that these halftime statistics show the rushing yardage for the Bears. 115 yards total for the first half. Green Bay Packers only 31. Now the passing yardage advantage goes to the Pack. But look at that time of possession. When we came out of the first quarter, the Packers were ahead by at least 8 minutes.
That's right. So the Bears have really turned it around. Now can the Pack come back in the second half and make something happen? They're going to have to get the passing attack going. They've got to virtually throw out the run.
Well, that's one of the things they have to do is distribute that football around to all of those receivers. All of them are quite good, as a matter of fact. Randy Wright told us that he never knows who he's going to throw the ball to when he breaks the huddle, but he's got to know now.
And as usual, he's got to have the time to do it. We'll be back at Lambeau Field with the score, Chicago 17, Green Bay 6, in a moment.
The network. It's the most powerful tool in business today. At GTE, we can put that power in your hands. The power of a personalized communications network designed for the success of your business alone. The growth of your business, the prosperity of your business. We've done it for others. We'll do it for you. Because at GTE, the power is on.
Now, you may be ready for the cooler weather ahead, but is your car ready? To make sure, stop by your Napa Auto Care Center now for our fall specials. Look for the sign of quality car care. Napa.
Buy 15 rolls of any Owens Corning pink insulation now and get your favorite NFL team jacket free.
Think about this. If every one of us gave just 5 hours a week to the causes we care about, it would be like mobilizing more than...
The game of football seems simple on the field, but off the field, the business of football isn't. Because players depend on trainers. Trainers depend on assistant coaches. Assistant coaches depend on the head coach. The head coach depends on the front office. All of them depend on communications. And that's why the NFL and its teams depend on GTE. Now, isn't that the kind of support your business should depend on? GTE, the telecommunications consultant to the NFL.
It's where she can be what she wants to be, where you live when he's all grown, where she keeps her memories. It's a home of his own. A home is a dream worth working for. The American dream come true.
We need Jack Hyler in Congress so he can keep working for the American dream. Brought to you on behalf of the Realtors of Indiana's 3rd Congressional District.
Pink, Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. And by GTE. At GTE, the power is on.
Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggets back here at Lambeau Field on this beautiful fall afternoon in Wisconsin. Green Bay struck first to take a 6-0 lead. They missed the point after. The touchdown was scored by Brent Fullwood after the interception by Mark Lee to set it up from the Chicago 39. And then in the second quarter, it was all Bears. Even though Brown intercepted McMahon again, Green Bay unable to capitalize on that drive. And then Anderson, a 45-yard run. And then later, after Ron Rivera's interception, Anderson scored from 2 yards out. We stand 17-6 with the Butler field goal added to the Bears score. Dennis Gentry returning the kickoff over the 25 and then driven back. They'll give him about the 27-yard line. Scott Stephen made the tackle. One of the tough special teams players, reserve linebacker, number 54. So the Bears have the ball first in this second half, and it's the Pack that would like to be starting out offensively.
And the other key for the Bears is they've got decent field position now. Ball resting between the 28 and 29-yard lines.
McMahon 5 of 10, 35 yards passing. Not a big day for him, to say the least, so far. But the Bears have the lead. And they go to the running game. Neil Anderson gets about 7 on first down. Ken Stills, the safety, number 29 on the tackle.
Boy, I tell you what, Matsui is really earning his money. And watch in the pit, as they say. Now watch up front. Gets good blocking out of his offensive line. Wojo in a nice block there at the point of attack. But Suey cuts down all that inside interference, and that gives Neal that opportunity to kind of slide up in that line of scrimmage and then make his move. Matsui's doing an exceptional job at the fullback position, blocking those linebackers and defensive linemen.
2nd and 3 in the I formation now. Suey and Neil Anderson, the running backs. Suey this time cuts it back nicely. Matt Suey, the veteran, out to the 48-yard line where Tim Harris hauls him down.
Many times on a play, it's important on the backside of a play to continue to block people. Now watch, you're the running back in this situation. You're Matsui. You get the handoff. Now what do you see? You see it jammed up a little bit up front on the front side. You just simply cut to that backside. Thornton did a nice job back there with backside blocking along with Wojo. And then now Matsui finally goes down, but not before he gained about 6-7 yards on the play.
Suey took a real rap last week against Minnesota and had a slight concussion. He looks like he's 100% out there today. And picks up a couple more near midfield. The 30-year-old veteran from Penn State getting another life really this year with Anderson moving back to the halfback position and Suey in his familiar fullback role where he had so many successful years with Peyton at halfback.
Well, I tell you what, though, every time I see him without that helmet on, we get a good look at that gray hair. He's almost completely gray at 30 years old, and I give him a hard time about it.
That must be all the worries of being a Chicago Bear. Bob Nelson made the tackle. Blaze Winter has not returned at the nose position in this half so far, in this opening series for Green Bay. He left with an injury late in the first half. Suey again. Gets a couple of more. It'll leave 3rd down and about 5. And remember, the Packers already without Jerry Boyarski, their center on the nose, on injured reserve with a broken arm. Sean Patterson making the tackle on that play, the rookie from Arizona State.
Sean Patterson's mom and dad were up here at practice the other day. They're up from Arizona, made a long trip up here to get a look at their son playing the Big Bear game. And there you see number 96, Sean Patterson, the rookie, as you said, out of Arizona.
Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Yeah, he would want that distinction. 3rd down. You see Winter on the Packers sideline, but has not been in so far. Flags down here. McMahon wants to throw, and he just fires it into the ground under pressure. Probably sensing the penalty will be against Green Bay. We'll wait and see. Patterson.
That veteran
forcing McMahon.
That veteran quarterback, though, that's what they give you. They give you that hard count, and it draws those linemen offside.
Tom Dooley, our referee, will have the call.
McMahon is the master of subtle movement as well.
Offside, 54 defense, 3rd down.
What you see as a quarterback is you see those the linebackers up there right on the line of scrimmage. Boy, they're jumping. They want to get across the line of scrimmage. And that time, you know, Jimmy gives them that hard count, and here they come. And the ball's never snapped.
Well, he admitted that he uses that technique, talking with us yesterday. And, you know, his feeling is, hey, you do it, and you know the teams that are more susceptible to it. We do have a medical report on Blaze Winter, a sore neck and shoulder, and may not return. As we said, he is still on the Green Bay sideline, but he's a spectator. Play action. McMahon rolling left, has his man Suey out of the backfield, and a 1st down to the 39-yard line of the Packers. Tim Harris forced him out. We've had a little bit of mild pushing and shoving, Dan, but none of the stuff that I suppose a lot of people expected. Talking to players on both teams, you knew very well that they know that this is an important rivalry from the rookies to the veterans.
And one of the guys that remembers the rivalry and how tough it can be was Matt Suey when Ken Stills really got him on that shot when they were right around the pile a couple of years ago. Matt Suey hasn't forgotten it, and neither has Kenny Stills, but I think he's seeing that tone down this year because of the coaching staffs as well. You don't need those kinds of penalties.
1st down, Bears in Packer territory. McMahon forced to his left, comes out to Gentry, and just off his fingertips.
Well, I tell you what, Wojo on the backside of that play had his hands full with Tim Harris. Tim put about 99 moves on Wojo before he ever got off the line of scrimmage. And as a result, Jim was falling back to that backside and had to unload it to Gentry very quickly. Philadelphia is on top of Minnesota now at the half, 14-10.
That's a big game, really, for both teams. You know, sometimes these key matchups come like last week when the Vikings beat the Bears. I mean, Philadelphia, a team many think is a real serious contender in the NFC East. They're at 1-2. They can't afford to fall much farther behind. They're in a tough division with the Giants and Washington. And Minnesota, obviously, that story there is they're going to battle with the Bears all season long. They've got to keep winning. Anderson, for about 3, maybe 4 yards out the left side. And the running game for the Bears starting to grind down the Packers defensively here. And again, we go back to the point that they're without their starter, Alfonso Carricker, has only seen a little bit of action today because of a knee injury. And the two key guys in the middle, Holland and Brian Noble. Noble the holdout, and Holland out with a quadricep injury.
And then you see Alfonso Carricker running very gingerly on that injured knee. So it's going to be a couple more weeks before he's completely ready to go.
They're having to play him now because of the injury to Blaze Winter. Third down. Good time for McMahon, and intended for Gentry, incomplete.
I'll tell you what, the guy to go to was Glenn Kozlowski. He cut back to the middle of the field, right down the middle, and he was wide open. It looked like Jimmy Mack ran out of time back there. Now you see McMahon back in the pocket. Pressure's on. Anderson's coming on the blitz. He gets cut by Neil Anderson, crawls in, and then gets that stick on Jimmy Mack just late enough, along with Tim Harris, to upset the passing pattern.
Harris with the tackle on him just after the ball was released, and of course he had that one-step rule going for him. Looked like he was on time. Fake. Wagner to Thornton, the tight end. Picked up very well indeed by Chuck Cecil, the rookie from Arizona, who read the fake punt. Isn't that something? Good pass by Wagner, but credit the rookie Cecil. He was ready.
Well, the thing you realize on this play is the Bears are not taking a real big risk. The ball's on about the 35. They try to fake punt now. If Thornton can really get going with it, they're in great shape. But now he gets tackled right there about the 35-yard line. So in essence, they lost 15 yards.
10:54 to go, third quarter. Packers have the ball, but the Bears lead.
Mobile communication is the power to hold your world together. At GTE, we can put that power at hand to take with you where it has never gone before. Into the skies, down endless highways, beyond all past limitations. At GTE, we give you the freedom of personal communication and the power of new opportunities. Because at GTE, the power is on.
After rigorous examination of the Mercedes-Benz 300E, one automotive journal concluded that it may be the best sedan in the world, and another journal called it a nearly spectacular mix of performance and practicality, the Mercedes-Benz 300E. Now that it's astonished the experts, let it astonish you.
People ask me if I am still hungry that flamenco dancing was excluded from the Olympic Games. Me? Hungry? No! Which means, of course, at least I can enjoy a great tasting Miller Lite.
To everyone with an Olympic dream, cheers.
Chicago Bears leading Green Bay 17-6 as we look at McMahon and Anderson on the Bears bench. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggets, and the Packers have the ball. Randy Wright, 8 of 18, 76 yards, 1 interception.
Packers have the ball on about the 33-yard line, 34, as a result of a Bear faked punt.
Smart play by Chuck Cecil, coming up quickly to drop Thornton after Wagner had thrown a pretty good pass to him. Packers with reasonably good field position here. Ken Davis, 4, maybe 5 on the play for the third-year man from TCU.
What you try to do here, if you're the Packer offense, is give your linemen an opportunity to check their attitudes. Run it back like Kenneth Davis up into the line of scrimmage. Let the linemen get set up a little bit. Let them bump some people. Then maybe you go to your play action if your running game is working for you. And certainly a guy like Kenneth Davis can make it work for you.
Singletary and Gale put the stop on Davis. Clint Didier has come in at tight end. 2 receivers split out to the left here for Green Bay. Right, short drop, going deep downfield for Davis, too far. 3rd down. Word that Jack Morris has a no-hitter going for Detroit in the 7th inning at Baltimore against the Orioles today. Keep you up to date on that. Baseball note. Third down, Packers. Kind of a key down for them here to get themselves and the crowd back into this. Folks enjoying the sunshine here, not much else. Patrick Scott nearly made a super catch, number 83, but Bestie Jackson on the coverage prevented him from holding on.
Tim, we saw Patrick Scott miss a play like this, drop a football like this the other day in practice. On the quick slant, he's working against Bestie Jackson. He comes down to the stripe and then breaks it in towards the middle. He should have this ball. There's no question about it. When you get your hands on it like that, you just simply roll over and cover it up. Don't try to make extra yardage. Just catch the football.
Which is, I think, what the coach hollered at him when he dropped it in practice.
That's exactly it.
Well, the replay booth wanted to have another look at that one. I'm not sure why, but
they have all that equipment there. Might as well use it.
Might as well use it, right. The replay official is Ralph Moorcroft today. Don Bracken. Another pretty good punt. Takes a Packer bounce. And McKinnon. Dennis McKinnon. He did his own little dance away from that ball after he made sure it was going into the end zone. 62-yarder with the Packer bounce for Bracken. We'll be right back.
If your air conditioning bills are getting too hot to handle, get the Owens Corning Attic blanket. Owens Corning, we put your house in the pink.
Light. It is magical, powerful, essential. At GTE, we place that power at the touch of your hand. The power to open up any darkness. To illuminate the facts of science, brighten the arenas of sports and business. Create the warm glow that means home. At GTE, we give you the power of light in 6,000 ways. None of them small. At GTE, the power is on.
I don't know whether to begin without him. I'm sure he's just sitting in that awful traffic.
Steve, in his new 190 class Mercedes, sitting in traffic. Oh, sure, he's sitting there in line, drumming his fingers on the steering wheel, tapping his foot, fiddling with the radio stations, staring at the taillights of the car in front of him. Marie, I've commuted with Steve.
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, it means... That's what it means.
Today's Duracell batteries are built to last up to 30% longer than the ones we made a few years back. Guaranteeing a long, happy life. Today's Duracell lasts 30% longer.
It's a meeting of 2 Heisman hopefuls when Tommy Hodgson leads the 7th-ranked LSU Tigers against Emmitt Smith and the Florida Gators next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggets at Lambeau Field in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The Chicago Bears leading 17-6 after the Packers had taken the early lead in the first quarter. It's been all Chicago, and they have the ball at the 20-yard line. Jim McMahon continues at quarterback, coming off his sore knee of a week ago. Suey and Sanders are the running back pair. Release man is Sanders. Gets away from Vernell Dent and is close to a first down. Ken Stills stops him just short of the 30-yard line. Well, we've got more football action ahead today on CBS Sports. We hope you'll stay with us for doubleheader game number 2. Most of you will see the Rams at the Giants. San Francisco at Seattle will be seen in some areas, and Washington at Phoenix. And each of those games has their own, again, early season importance. San Francisco slipping a little bit, perhaps a little cause for concern there. Seattle without their starter Dave Craig, still a very solid team in the AFC. And the other games equally important. Sanders has the first down for the Bears. Washington will start Mark Rippon at quarterback today, and his first start, his first play as an NFL quarterback in regular season action.
You see the average yards rushing, Chicago 5.2. You always hope for at least 4.5. Green Bay, on the other hand, 2.8. Of course, they've been throwing the football a great deal more once they got behind.
Well, and they've averaged only 71.7 yards a game in 3 games rushing so far. Bobby McFerrin's important admonition, don't worry, be happy. Well, Bear fans can feel that way right now. I'm not sure the Packer fans do. A reverse to Kozlowski, makes a good move and winds up with a gain of about 3. Not a stunner, but an interesting play utilizing Kozlowski out of what was really a double reverse.
We thought at some point they might come back with that reverse because of the great pursuit that they were getting from the Packer defense, but that was in the first quarter. They're getting a little tired and worn down now.
Sean Patterson, the rookie, made the tackle. Sean Patterson, a guy they really feel good about here in Green Bay. Their number 2 pick this year out of Arizona State. Tons of ability, 6'5", 260, great attitude, happy to be here, happy to get a chance to play. Of course, that's due to the injury to Carricker. 2nd and 7. Play action. Quickly out to the tight end, Thornton. Thornton has a first down. He's ridden down by number 22, Mark Lee. A flag goes down. Lee might have grabbed a little iron there.
Yeah, I think Mark Lee had RoboCop by the neck, and that's a no-no along with that face mask.
Face mask, 5 yards. Defense.
Just a grasping the face mask, got the more serious 15-yard infraction.
Where you see Robo, he's got the ball now, he's heading out of bounds, and Mark Lee just kind of reaches over and he says, hey, this is a big guy, how else am I going to bring him down? It's like steer wrestling, you know, you just grab it any way you can, but there you see the penalty call on the sideline.
23-year-old James Thornton, and quite a physical specimen, especially for a former quarterback. I liked his answer to your question to him yesterday about what he's been doing when he's been off the football field.
Yeah, the poor guy's a bachelor. He said, well, the biggest thing he's been doing is laundry.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't want to make a visit to his apartment based on what he told us. You'd have to plow your way through the dirty laundry. First down. Screen pass. Suey has the option to throw here, but nobody opened downfield, and the Packers played that very well. Tripped up by John Dorsey. They were ready for it. They split the blocking, and Suey didn't have a man open to throw to.
Well, the key thing, Thomas Sanders, number 20, was downfield trying to get open, but Kenny Stills had great coverage on him. Didn't really fall for the fake.
You saw that Minnesota score, and the word out of that game at Minnesota, Tommy Kramer has injured his right hand, and Wade Wilson has come in at quarterback. So the quarterback derby continues in Minnesota. Kramer coming off his great game of a week ago against the Bears. Eagles on top 14-10 in that game. 2nd down and 10. Inside for Sanders, pushing his blocker Van Horn, and not pushing him hard enough. Another good defensive play. Mark Murphy coming up quickly from the safety spot to make the stop.
Keith Van Horn saw 2 defensive backs blitzing right over top of him. He's on the left side of your screen. You see Tiger Green, number 23, and watch number 29, Stills coming from the backside. Van Horn tries to pull up and stop them long enough, but he tries to get around the corner then and make a block, but that's a tough deal when you know you've got those defensive backs chasing you and you got a block up front. But he did a nice job of it. Actually, he saved that play in terms of being caught from the backside.
Have the Bears offensive linemen redeemed themselves so far here as we're into the 3rd quarter with 6 minutes left?
All you got to do is look at that average yards per rush, and there's no question about it.
3rd down. 3 receivers out to the left. They come this way to Sanders. Loose ball at the 2-yard line. He's downed at the 3-yard line, and the official right on the spot there, and a fine run by Sanders after he caught the pass. 40 yards the gain.
Quite frankly, I'm surprised as well that Mark Lee didn't get another face mask penalty on that one. He really wrapped the arm around Thomas Sanders. Now watch Thomas Sanders slipping behind the linebackers who are blitzing. Now he just comes back around on the left side of your screen, makes the reception, and now he's going to break it back to the other side of the field because he sees that coverage coming up from the secondary. Good speed, good movement here, and that secondary can't react fast enough. Now Thomas Sanders has got great speed. He's heading towards the end zone, and then you see that shot by Mark Lee on Thomas Sanders. Ball resting gently at about the 4-yard line.
It'll be 1st and goal for the Bears from there as they come up with a big play. Something they were unable to do last week against the Vikings, and they've had several of them here against the Pack. 5:16 to go. Green Bay will really have to step it up here to stay in this ball game. McMahon, lots of time, fires it in, tipped away by the Packers. Flags are everywhere. John Dorsey got a hand on that ball. Sanders, the intended receiver, he was knocked down in traffic.
When you see a quarterback on the goal line pumping like that, you don't want to see that if you're a receiver, because you know that you're supposed to be open and you're not.
Illegal contact. 99 defense. First down.
Dorsey gets an illegal contact call.
Now you watch number 99 Dorsey. He's right there on the K, and you see him. He pushed down the receiver to try to make the interception. But you can't get away with that down there or anywhere else when that receiver is out there on the pattern.
Well, listen, that was pretty alert all over the place, though, by Dorsey. He knocked the receiver down, got his hand on the ball. Mustard and Sanders now, the running backs for the Bears. Mustard the lead back. Sanders to the goal line. Loose ball. McMahon dove in there, but did the Packers get it? No, Chicago has it. And they're still wrestling for the ball, but everything's been whistled dead. That'll get the crowd into it. McMahon was the man. You saved the ball for Chicago.
You love it. You get down there in the goal line, you get that hard-nosed play. You start bumping heads, and that's when you can really tee off on a couple of people. Watch that offensive line and watch this ball being fumbled. Offensive line gets great surge up front. Now Thomas Sanders is going to try to break it back just slightly and go over the top. Gets a helmet on the ball, and the ball squeezes out. Van Horn alertly goes down for it, as well as McMahon, and the Bears recover. Dave Brown late on that play.
So Chicago has a 2nd and goal from the 2-yard line. Sanders again. And he is hauled back by Tim Harris. So a gutty display by the Green Bay defense here. They're refusing to yield. It brings up 3rd down.
I tell you, this is what it's all about, down on the goal line. Watch this line surge by the Green Bay Packers. They reestablish the line of scrimmage on the Bears this time. Do you see him pushing those offensive linemen back? Thomas Sanders has nowhere to go, and he is stopped in the backfield by Tim Harris, number 97.
And again, without Blaze Winter, who was playing for the injured Jerry Boyarski, who's out with a broken arm on injured reserve. So Characters had to stay in there, sore knee and all. These guys are gutting it out.
This is what it's all about down here. This is gut check time down on the goal line. You find out what you're made of. You find out what the guy you're playing against is made of.
The Bears took a timeout here. Having lost a yard on the play, they are 3rd and goal when we return. 3:50 to go, 3rd quarter. Chicago on top.
The S-Class, the engineering flagships of Mercedes-Benz, and something more. Automobiles that evoke memories of a day long past, and a car so exotic that it turned a young boy's head. A heritage of legendary automobiles that have inspired dreams. The Mercedes-Benz S-Class, nothing less than the best of every big Mercedes there ever was.
Leave it to the good hands, people.
Understanding. It's knowing that buying a new house often means finding new ways to save, even if that means bagging your lunch.
You want whole wheat or rye?
Give me rye.
And Allstate can help with a new house discount that could save you 15% on homeowners insurance.
You want mustard or mayo?
Mayo.
And 15% could buy lots of hot lunches.
You want mixed fruit or pudding?
Do you want the truth?
The Allstate new house discount. Another reason.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
You gotta stop and taste the high life. Take a hard-earned break
Every now and again, stop and taste the high life. Kick back and drink it in. Spend some time just finding out what you're working for, what it's all about.
Miller High Life, brewed to be smooth, never bitter. Takes time to make, time to enjoy.
Stop and taste the high life. Take the high.
Miller High Life.
High Risk. What kind of a person takes his life in his hands for the pure thrill of it? An all-new series premieres Tuesday, October 4th.
An absolute risk riot.
Tim Ryan and Dan Jiggets in Green Bay. The Bears are 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. This is the 10th play in this drive. They've used up 6:06 on the clock. The Bears have had the ball virtually the entire 3rd quarter. 4 wide receivers in. Inside handoff. Still looking for an official signal. Bears are signaling it. Anderson thought he was in, but no, they were stopped. They spotted it about the 1-foot line.
Well, you know, you're not really fooling anybody down here. You know that this is probably one of the best plays to run down here. The draw play, Neil Anderson slices it up inside, and you saw the Packers were leaving the defensive backs and one of those linebackers inside. And again, here's another look at it from the end zone. Good blocking there by Van Horn. He gets the nice hug block there on the defensive lineman, and Neil Anderson punches it down inside, but he's just a foot short of the end zone.
Yeah, his helmet got into the end zone, but not the ball.
That's right, that football's got to break the plane.
4th and goal.
McMahon
Suey and Anderson. Anderson into the slot, and McMahon is stopped. What a job by this undermanned Packer defense, playing with out starters and guys playing hurt like Carricker, and they have stopped the Bears.
Tim, it is very difficult to run a quarterback sneak down on the goal line when you don't allow your quarterback to get any kind of a running start. Now watch McMahon's feet. He doesn't even have any kind of a start. He's got to generate the energy from right there, and it's difficult when they block it up on you and you can't get over the top. Probably should have handed off to the running back down there. Here's another look at it. Now watch, McMahon has to jump up in the air to get over the line of scrimmage. Doesn't really have any energy coming up over that line of scrimmage.
Well, but that, I would assume, is because that defensive line got underneath and plugged everything
up. That's right. They submarine you as an offensive line, and then suddenly your quarterback can't get in the end zone.
Wright has to start from inside his 1-yard line. Keith Woodside, the rookie, stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Bears say they have a safety, but it'll depend on the spot. I think he's over the goal line. Yeah, they're going to give it to him. In fact, they even give him a gain of about a football length.
Now watch Keith Woodside, number 33. He's going to try to run off that right side of his offensive line. Gets a block there by number 30, Paul Caruth. He cuts the man down, but it doesn't allow Woodside any opportunity to get up into the line of scrimmage. Because if you cut down there in the backfield, suddenly your running back is jammed up.
You see him down inside the goal line after he came down with the ball, but his forward progress was outside the end zone.
Absolutely.
Play action pass intended for Caruth, almost intercepted by Duerson. Duerson had himself a touchdown, couldn't squeeze it.
I'll tell you what, Randy Wright just dodged another one. Dave Duerson reads this play all the way. Now watch on the right side of your screen, number 22. Dave Duerson's going to come up. He's playing the running back, Paul Caruth, out of the backfield. He reads the play perfectly, has the interception, and then he just gives it up when he hits the ground. But now, can the ground cause a fumble?
Well, that was a pass there, so it was like an incomplete. And there you see Green Bay with just 1 yard since the first quarter. Sterling Sharp, first down to the 15-yard line. Randy Wright, there is a tough 3rd down conversion. And the rookie Sharp makes the catch.
Great play by Sterling Sharp. Now, right side of your screen, Randy Wright rolls a little bit to the right to get away from some of that pressure, and he throws it over to Sterling Sharp, who's coming in on that slant route at about 10 yards. He beats Mike Richardson for the play. Sean Gale comes over and helps out on the coverage.
Until this possession by Green Bay. They had only had the ball for 58 seconds in the quarter. We have 1:19 remaining in the third. It's their first down since back in the first period. Wright gets some time and has his man, Woodside, the rookie, to the 23-yard line. Number 3 pick by the Packers out of Texas A&M.
And Lindy Infante told us that this guy, Keith Woodside, number 33, is his kind of player, and that kind of a running back that he needs in this offense. He runs the out route here down and shallow in the flat, makes a beautiful over-the-shoulder reception, and he's working one-on-one against Jim Marcy, number 51. Marcy's been doing a great job so far in this game against those running backs out of the backfield.
It leaves a 2nd and 2 for Green Bay, trailing 17-6. Time winding down in the third quarter. Deep for Stanley. Can't hold on. Walter Stanley, I don't know whether he lost it in the sun. It was over his shoulder. Difficult catch to make.
Well, he was really the secondary receiver on this play. Now, what happened is Walter Stanley finally broke free down the middle of the field. He's splitting the seams in that zone, and then he tries to reach back over his shoulder and grab that ball. That ball could have been intercepted had the secondary, the Bears, been a little bit more alert when it was coming down. Well, what really messed Randy Wright up was he looked over here in this corner. He saw Richard Dent on his wide receiver, said, I've got that play open right now, but he couldn't get it effectively over there.
So it's 3rd down, a big one here, obviously, for the Green Bay Packers. 3rd and 2. Wright, quick sideliner. He's got it to Sharp. First down, Packers. To their 28-yard line. So they keep possession. 52 seconds left, third quarter.
It's a tough spot to put in those cornerbacks in when you give them that one-on-one coverage if you come in with a blitz. And Mike Richardson was really on that play and was able to force Sterling Sharp out of bounds. Had he not, Sterling could have taken the sideline.
First down at the 28-yard line. Sharp comes out. You saw Randy Wright in that last shot, just kind of flexing his shoulder. Minnesota leading Philadelphia 17-14. Quite a ball game there. 8 first downs back in the first period, only 2 since then for the Packers. It's been all Bears since that first quarter. Well, we're not sure what happened on that one. A busted play and a little extra push and shove down there between Dent and Rutgers.
I'll tell you what happened is Dave Durson, number 22, in on the strong safety blitz. He came right up the gut of the defense and put the pressure on Randy Wright. Randy saw him coming, never got blocked up front. Now watch Dave Durson, number 22, comes right into the middle of your screen. He's right on Randy Wright. Randy bumps his elbow as he lets it go. Now watch the right side of your screen. Richard Dent and Ken Rutgers get into it a little bit. Little shot there to the neck. And Ken goes, hey, what are you doing? Turn around. Hey, I'm going to push you. Okay, you push me.
Well, that was a fair question. That was your basic Bear Packer cheap shot there by Richard Dent. 2nd and 10. One setback. It's Fullwood. Wright slides out of there and hits Walter Stanley. Stanley has a first down before he's forced out at the 45-yard line of Green Bay. Packers on the move. $17-yard gain. Walter Stanley came into this ball game with 14 catches on the season. Been bothered with a bit of a groin pull, but having a good day so far.
One of the things that you see in the Bears defense doing is they're playing these zones now, and that time you saw Morrissey covering a wide receiver. Makes it a little difficult for them to make those adjustments that quickly. But now, well, let's watch and see if they drop back into that zone, or they're going to start tightening up, playing some man-to-man and blitzing the Packers.
Fullwood hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll be dropped for a loss. Dent made the first contact, and then Singletary nailed him for a loss of about a yard.
Now, this is where the little battles start up front. You saw that earlier with Ken Rutgers and Richard Dent. You know, you start getting that attitude now that, hey, look, I want to win this football game, and I'm not going to let anybody push me around up front. Richard Dent, by the same token, has that same attitude. He says, hey, look, I want to start making plays in the backfield now. He's getting a little aggressive up front. There you see him. He's talking now.
Time winding down here in this third quarter. Dent for the Bears, Tim Harris for the Packers, the designated talkers in this game. And we have reached the end of the third quarter with the score. The Chicago Bears 17, the Green Bay Packers 6.
At Prudential Bates, rock solid means more than strength and stability. It's having the resources to develop and deliver individualized investment ideas. Market Wise means the insight and capability that helps clients find opportunities no matter what the investment climate. If anyone can get your strategy right on target right now, that's it. It's Prudential Bates Securities, rock solid, market wise.
Regardless of what some people think, all spark plugs aren't alike. These AC copper core plugs match my car's specs for up to 30,000 miles of high revving firepower.
AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
When I'm fighting dandruff, I want all the help I can get. So now I'm using new extra strength Denorex with 39% more dandruff medicine. For my dandruff and itch, there's 39% more medicine in new extra strength Denorex. For great looking hair, I can't get too much of a good thing.
Send up a crow's foot. Give me an app check.
There's a place in the friendly skies where not everyone's so friendly.
Stop. Hold it. I need 3 hours minimum. Check it out.
Over 9,000 mechanics of United Airlines work here.
Give me a mini grinder.
They're picky, fussy, stubborn. But if you fly, they're the best friends you'll ever have. United, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggets at Lambeau Field. The Bears leading Green Bay 17-6, and Chicago's dominated this thing from the first quarter, Dan, but all of a sudden we're seeing the Packers starting to move it again.
Yeah, it started on that drive when the Bears didn't take it in and score. The Packers said, hey, we're still in this thing. Let's take the ball down, drive it down the field, see if we can put a touchdown on the board early in the fourth quarter, and then we're all set. We need one more score after that, and we're definitely in it.
Tremendous psychological boost when you stop a team like the Chicago Bears at the goal line and see if they can convert that in motion offensively. 2nd and 11. Wright swings it out for Fullwood. He's hit immediately. Singletary read it all the way and gets the whistle.
Mike Singletary was in the Packer playbook on that one. When he saw Jim Morrissey and Ron Rivera, number 59, blitz from the outside, Singletary says, hey, I've got that running back out in the flat. Get out there, because he knows that that's what the Vikings had success on them with last week.
Brings up 3rd down, a loss of nearly a yard on that play. So again, another critical play for Green Bay here. We're just underway in the fourth quarter. They've got to have a first down here. 4 wide receivers for Wright. Pressure, sack, back at the 26-yard line. 4th Bear sack of the day, Al Harris. Number 90.
The reason why Al Harris got the sack is he's playing now against the defensive end. Now here's Ken Rutgers up at the top of your screen now. He's playing left tackle. Now watch the game inside with Richard Dent. Dent comes around and he's picked up by Ron Hallstrom, but Al Harris just simply beats the tackle Euchre there. And what happened is Euchre never snapped his arms out on the pass protection. He caught Al Harris, and Al just kept the pressure on back to the quarterback.
So it is Bracken having to punt the ball for Green Bay, and a big 3rd down stoppage by Chicago. McKinnon from his 22. Cuts it inside for about 4 and is met by John Dorsey. And the Bears with pretty good field possession at the 27. And we'll return after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Oh, Autumn. Don't you just love it? Football games, pumpkin pie.
And drafty windows.
That's right, drafty windows. And that means heat loss and wasted money, unless you call All Weather Exteriors now.
Our thermal pane insulated windows keep the winter air where it belongs, outside.
And when All Weather Exterior sides your home, we insulate first, wrapping the house in a draft-tight barrier. Call All Weather Exteriors today. We're in the Yellow Pages in the roofing, siding,
and windows.
What's the #1 sandwich maker up to? Designing a new Subway sub?
No, I'm planning a Subway sale, and you better start baking.
Hot bread coming through.
We bake 'em fresh. We make 'em fresh. Everybody loves Subway sub.
Look for valuable Subway sandwich coupons in this Sunday's newspaper.
Here's what a Pontiac car buyer has to say.
Pontiac's my kind of car. Look, Pontiac Grand Am, the nation's #1 selling compact, makes me look good. Pontiac Bonneville gives me full-size performance. Pontiac Grand Prix, Motor Trend's Car of the Year, gives me style. Pontiac's the car for me. And at these low 88 closeout prices, choosing's tough. So I bought all three.
See your Michiana Pontiac dealer.
TV22 Spirit, oh yes.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered draft beer. It's as real as it gets. Miller Brewing is the exclusive beer sponsor of today's telecast. Prudential Bait Securities, rock solid market wise. And by Dodge Cars and Trucks. On the street or off the road, it's the new spirit of Dodge.
Tim Ryan and Dan Jiggets, Bears with a first down here at Lambeau Field after a 51-yard punt by Brackett. Neil Anderson slipping on the greasy turf over there, and the Packers again doing a good job wide. Stop them for no gain. Carricker made the stop. Well, talking to Jim McMahon yesterday, Dan, he talked about the fact that Greg Landry likes to spread the passing around. They've been doing the job.
Hey, you see a prime example of it. And look at the tight ends. The tight ends have actually gotten more balls than the wide receivers. And that's something that Mike Ditka told us a week or so ago, that he wanted to get that ball to the tight end more. Certainly they're doing it.
Turned out to be a loss of about a half yard. So it's second and a little more than 10 for the Bears. The crowd getting into the wave here, trying to pump up that defense. Flag down on the play as again Anderson nowhere to go.
And rookie tight end Jim Thornton was offside on the play. He's number 80. He's down at the bottom of your screen.
So the Packers defensively starting to make things difficult for the Bears after they had their own way through the second and third quarters.
What's the thing?
Offsides, number 88, offense.
Kozlowski
Third down.
charged with the offside.
I think if you really look on that play, though, it was actually Thornton.
Well, he had 8s in his numbers.
Yeah. Anyway, we talked earlier about the rivalry and how no matter what goes on before the game, this game never really gets out of hand. It's always a tough battle. We're seeing a prime example of it late going into the fourth quarter now, and things are still tough for the Bears and the Pack.
So it is third down. And a shotgun with a lot of noise, and he hands out to Anderson. Good piece of running by Neil Anderson for a Bear first down and then some to the 42-yard line. And now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York for a report on Chris Miller of Atlanta.
Well, Tim, the brutal toll on NFL quarterbacks continues. Young Miller falls back into his own end zone. He is buried by the Dallas Cowboys for the safety, but he suffered leg injuries. He's been taken off the field on a cart. He has suffered injuries to his knee and his ankle. He's going for x-rays. We don't know how serious. It's 2016, back to 10.
Wow, that's a tough one there, and especially with Atlanta in the lead in the game. Steve Dills is in at quarterback there, we're told. Meanwhile, back here at Lambeau Field, Bear first down, a flag flying. Muster got about 3 on the play. And you know, word out of Minnesota, Tommy Kramer's come back into the ball game, and apparently because he had to, he left with a sore hand. Wade Wilson has an injured left shoulder. So Kramer's back in that game, and the Vikings lead by 3 in the third. Buffalo beating up on Pittsburgh now.
The penalty is on the Bears here.
Illegal use of hands, number 88 offense, first down.
Kozlowski again nailed with the penalty. Illegal use of hands, it's called, and Packers will take that and march it back to the 32-yard line of Chicago.
Once again, you can get away with certain things defensively, and you can get away with certain things offensively, but you can't go to the neck and the head. That's when they start getting a little angry at you as officials. And in that situation, Glenn Kozlowski was having a little fun out there with the cornerbacks, but you can't get away with it.
First and long for McMahon. Little drop play, and Anderson nowhere to go. Burnell Dent and Bob Nelson on the tackle. Nelson in for the injured Blaze Winter, who was in for the injured Jerry Boyarski. So this makeshift defensive line, Carricker being pressed into service despite his sore knee, they have suddenly started to really dominate the line of scrimmage.
Alfonso Carricker is a very gentle guy. You know, for a defensive lineman, you figure most of these guys are going to be rough and ready. This guy really takes advantage of the opportunity of playing professional football to look into the community, get involved there, and get involved with his teammates.
2nd and 18. Good piece of running by Neil Anderson, but flags are down again. That time the Bears gave Anderson a hole. He got up to midfield.
Neil had a nice little cutback, but that's the result sometimes of a cutback. When you feel that defensive manager blocking, move the other direction, you grab a hold of him.
Holding, number 25 offense, second down.
So they're backed up once again. Holding called against the Bears, Matsui. To make it Brad Muster, number 25, Brad Muster, Stanford rookie.
You know, when those young running backs come in, they want to cut that outside linebacker many times, and then the linebacker pushes them down. Well, the tendency is you grab that leg as you're going down, and as a result, every now and then you get caught doing it. You see Green Bay's rushing defense. Last week they gave up 98. Today they've given up 168.
Yeah, but in this last quarter, they've been a lot tougher through the latter part of the third. 2nd and 28 now. McMahon in trouble, eludes one rusher and slides upfield to the 37-yard line. Sean Patterson and John Anderson nailed him there.
Boy, I tell you what, Jim McMahon really tried to pull out up on the corner for play action, but he had to avoid the rush, tuck it back in, and go back towards the middle of the field. Now watch, 97, Tim Harris gets picked off and back, and Jim heads downfield with an escort by Wojo, and Wojo tries to throw a block, but he ends up landing on McMahon.
Pickup of 12 for McMahon on the scramble. Still leaves a 3rd and 16 for Chicago. So this now becomes a big defensive play for Green Bay. If they can stop them here, get the offense going again, they're still in this. McMahon has Gentry. He is stopped short of the first down by Tiger Green. Good coverage deep. He went to the shorter man, and Green responded. So Chicago will have to punt.
The key there, though, being that Jim McMahon got the Bears offense out of trouble. They were deep down in that end zone when they first got the ball back, down in their end of the field. And then they really got it pushed up to midfield now, and they've given themselves an opportunity to operate defensively. Packers offense now has to generate some good yardage.
Walter Stanley is the deep man for Brian Wagner's punt. Ball hangs up a little bit. Out of bounds. Not a good punt. See where they mark it. It'll be near the 25-yard line. And so Green Bay in pretty good field position when we return. 9:39 to go. They trail 17-6.
You know, the American car buyer honestly feels we don't have his best interest at heart. And he's telling us that loud and clear. He's buying imports. Any dealer worth his salt must learn to listen, or he's dead in the water. Car buyer wants a car, they'll take him back and forth to work, not back and forth to the shop. You don't buy a new car to have problems, do you? You've got gripes, complaints, disappointments. I know that, but there's only one way to fix it. We need a new bond between the car buyer and the car maker, and that's you and me. Chrysler's doing just that by recognizing the car buyer's rights. Every American has a right to a quality car, the right to long-term protection, the right to friendly treatment, honest service, and competent repairs, the right to a safe vehicle, the right to address grievances, the right to satisfaction, Car Buyer's Bill of Rights. Quality's your right. We intend to see that you get it.
When you fly in United, you're probably not aware of the 60,000 professionals working to make your trip easy, or the way our new advanced terminals speed you on your way. Just as when you use the American Express card, you're not really thinking about all the services that make frequent business flyers rated best for travel and entertainment. You don't notice these things because they're there, but you would notice them if they weren't.
Back in Green Bay, where the Bears' rushing game has been the difference for them so far, Anderson with 94 yards, including a 45-yard touchdown. 3 turnovers by the Bears, but they haven't really been hurt too badly. Only 6 points put up by Green Bay as a result of one of those turnovers. And right now is a time where the Packers have to put up or shut up for today in this great Bear-Packer rivalry. 9:39 to go.
Well, this is a key drive for them now. If they can take the ball down and put it in the end zone, then they're back in this football game. If they fail to on this series of downs, the game might be over for the Green Bay Packers.
They have it first down from their own 25-yard line after the short punt from Brian Wagner. Randy Wright gets some time. He's going deep for Sharp. He's got it. First down at the 24-yard line of Chicago. "52-yard pass play and a perfect pass. Sharp may have got poked in the eye there as he fell.
But boy, does he go, and this is a go route, left side of your screen. Now watch out, you're going to see Mike Richardson, number 27 on the coverage, and Sean Gale late. He's dropping back, playing the middle of that zone. Sean Gale is coming in from the inside, making tracks, trying to catch up with Sterling Sharp. But this guy's a nice receiver. He makes a great play. Over the shoulder catch, fades it towards the sideline.
Well, that is a super pass from Randy Wright.
It really is.
The old adage, give me some time, I'll deliver the ball. They all say the same thing. 5th catch for the rookie Sharp. That's overthrown, intended for Stanley.
As we were talking about time, that time Randy Wright didn't have any. He's throwing off that back foot. He just kind of leaned back and launched it.
3 Bears were leading the rush: Hampton, McMichael, and Richard Dent. 2nd down and 10 from the 24-yard line.
2nd down now, as you said, 10 yards. Now, when your 2nd down play, you try to at least get 6 or 7 yards on this play. Maybe you don't get the whole thing, but that sets you up for the 3rd down series and puts you in good shape.
Dave Croston has come in at right tackle, number 60. He's been alternating some with Keith Euchre. Short drop this time, and Wright is dropped. 5th sack of the afternoon by the Bears. Mike Singletary this time. Dave Duerson right with him.
Randy Wright dropped back. At that time, he audibled first at the line of scrimmage. Then they tried to check back off of it and go quickly to the outside. But Mike Singletary right in the middle of your screen there. You look at him. Look at those eyes. That's intensity. Now, Randy Wright sees that as well, and he sees it even closer in the second here. There you see Singletary avoiding the block by Brent Forward. He comes in and gets some help from Dan Hampton, and the Bears end up with the sack.
3rd down and 12. Right for Sharp. First and goal, Green Bay inside the Bear 10. No flags are down. A 17-yard play. Hold on to your hats, folks.
Left side of your screen, number 84, Sterling Sharp. Makes a nice move off the line of scrimmage, and then he gets broken open inside. Now, Mike Richardson thought he had inside-outside help there with number 49, Tate, but he never got it. Now, here's the pressure on Randy Wright. You see Richard Dent coming in from that backside and delivering a good shot to Randy. And Dave Croston up front is being pushed back into Randy Wright's face.
Well, the Packers had to deliver the goods on this drive. Here they are, inside the 10. Woodside in motion. Incomplete. Again, pressure on Wright. Stanley on the slant, couldn't catch up to the ball.
Vesti Jackson had the coverage.
The key thing here is Randy's getting pressure on him, and he's only taking a 3-step drop. And as a result, you see Walter Stanley coming to the end zone on the slant pattern. He comes over and tries to reach into the ball, but just can't make it. Good coverage on the play.
Patrick Scott brings in the next play. Out comes Perry Kemp. Ball at the 10-yard line still. Second down. 8:03 remaining. Regulation time. Bears shift the defense. Morrissey to the weak side. Pass tipped and deflected and intercepted in the end zone. Sean Gale. Ball came loose after that, but he was already down.
Now the key, though, he was not marked down in the end zone. Now the Bears are going to get the ball back at the 2-yard line instead of the 20-yard line. That's what the officials are arguing about now. They're discussing it, rather. And if the Bears get that ball on the 2-yard line, Sean Gale was on one knee in the end zone.
No. He was already down in the end zone.
Now you see the official in the end zone signaling the fact that he was down in the end zone.
There was no question about that.
Well, they were going for that fumble up there, and the officials were standing right next to it.
He was down, and that's what are they calling? Yet.
They're giving him the ball at the 20-yard line, I believe.
Gotta be. That just has to be. Let's look at it again.
Randy Wright tries to throw right over the middle of the offense there. The ball is tipped, and it appeared that it was a tipped off of an official. And then you see
Woodside.
Sean Gale is down there in the end zone. Now, does he get touched down there in the end zone is the question. There you see him get touched, but the ball pops out at the same time. He was not touched before that point.
Yeah, but if he's not trying to run out of there, that's still a touchback. We'll be right back.
Mark and Brian, rockin' LA. It's another hot one out there. 98, 12 degrees and no relief in sight. It's hot.
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold filtered one.
Man, I could sure go for one of these.
Because if you want a beer whose rich, smooth draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Right. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. It's as real as beer gets.
We have a slightly revised forecast. It's gone. Go.
Each year, 9 out of 10 Americans who have their homes insured with Liberty Mutual stay insured with Liberty Mutual.
Buy 15 rolls of any Owens Corning pick insulation now and get your favorite NFL team jacket free.
Find it at the heart of every truck we build. It's on the street and off the road. It's the new spirit of performance.
The top new spirit of Dodge.
The Rams. They're undefeated and sitting atop the NFC West. Can the pummeling force of the Giants bring them tumbling down? Next on CBS Sports.
Now what you're going to see in the end zone is watch down in this area. Sean Gale gets the ball and then attempts to get back up, but the officials ruled that he was down in the end zone. There you see he may have gotten touched there by number 33, Keith Woodside. But then Patrick Scott, 83, comes in a little bit later. Sean was actually getting up with the football, and that's what led to the confusion.
So it is a touchback, first down Bears. Matsui got only a couple, and a tough luck for the Packers, who had made 2 huge plays to get downfield quickly in a drive they simply had to make something happen on. It winds up with an intercept in the end zone. Big play by the Bears defensively. The ball popped out of the hands of the rookie Woodside into the hands of Sean Gale. And the rushing yardage by Chicago, 94 of those yards by Neil Anderson. 17 carries for number 35 today. Second down and 8. .708 to go. Anderson gets another 4 or 5 to his total, approaching the 100-yard mark for the day.
And you see Ken Stills, he's getting into it now with Dennis Gentry, number 29. two number 29s there, and they're starting to wrestle up and get in each other's faces.
So Ken Stills has been a fiery competitor all day long. Still going at it. Anderson up to 97 yards, and Stills a little bit hurt on the last play. 3rd down and 5. Kozlowski in motion. McMahon can't find a receiver open. And he took quite a shot there as he tried to get out of bounds. Mark Lee with a pretty good wrap on him. And what McMahon worries most about is that left shoulder. That's the part of his anatomy of which he has many parts injured, that the one he worries about the most, although as he told us yesterday, he has an inflamed tendon in that left knee that took him out of the game last week, and that also is a problem for him if he gets continued punishment on it.
And that's something that's been bothering him all season long.
Brian Wagner's punt fielded by Stanley, and he lost control of it. And the Bears have recovered the ball.
John Shannon, number 75. The Bears picked him back up after they experienced some injuries on that defensive line, and he was with them in training camp. Now watch, Walter Stanley's looking up into that sun. The ball hits the ground. Now he sees the defender going down, and that's Mickey Pruitt, I believe, number 52. Walter says, hey, I might be able to get a break out of this, but very foolishly he tries to pick that ball up and run it back. Can't do that when all those defensive people are around you.
Never really got a hold of it, and it was Greg Clark, a rookie linebacker, number 58. He came up with a loose football for the Bears, and a first down at the Packer 39. Each team with 3 turnovers, and a costly one there by the Green Bay Packers, because there is only 5:27 remaining. Bears leading 17-6. Thomas Sanders inside the 20.
Hey, if you're on defense, you're not going to tackle this guy trying to trip him up. You got to put a shoulder in on him and wrap him up. That time you saw the Green Bay Packer defense trying to stop this counter OT. Watch on the right side of your screen. You're going to see both the guard and the tackle from the backside pull out, throw their blocks, and watch Thomas Sanders cut it up in the middle. Now break back outside towards the sideline. Gets a nice turn back block there from Thayer. Now, see, that's where you got to shoulder tackle this guy. You cannot try to grab his toes and bring him down because he's got too much speed and strength.
205-pounder, stocky 5'11", Thomas Sanders. First down inside the 20. Sanders again. And the Bears starting to shred that Packer defense, which definitely has taken a dip here since the muffed punt return by Stanley, after they did such a great job in the goal line stand, and the offense downfield in 2 plays winds up with an intercept. You can just see them starting to sink here. 4:18 to go.
There's no question those kinds of plays take the wind out of your sails, but now what you see the Bears doing, as you look at that Minnesota score, suddenly the Bears are now countering. They're going with a counter OT. Now they come back with a trap on the other side, mixes it up for that defense, and now they can't tell quite where they're going to run the ball.
Houston beating up on New England with Cody Carlson, the second-string quarterback. 2nd and 3, Bears threatening again. Matt Suhey, and he has a first down inside the 10. So Chicago can virtually wrap this one up with any more points here. And they have a first down and goal from the 9.
Well, there's one thing that you know the Bears are satisfied with coming out of this game, and that is the fact that their offensive line started generating some nice blocks up front for them. Now, granted, the Packers' defensive line has been decimated by injuries, but when it gets down to the end of the day, you don't really look at those things and concentrate on them. Did you do your job, and did you get the job done from your backfield?
And John Wojciechowski went the distance at left tackle. Jim Covert not pressed into service today. They're giving him some more time to recover from that back surgery. Pitch out to Suhey. Suhey gets to the 5-yard line. Tim Harris and John Anderson, boy, they have been both playing full out all day long. In fact, you have to say that about this entire Packer team. They have not conceded anything.
TV timeout.
And the ball at the 6-yard line when we return. Chicago on top.
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. In the NFL, a strong pair of linebackers can propel a team to victory. And in New Orleans, that propulsion is provided by Pat Swilling and Ricky Jackson. This tandem delivers Saints supporters devastating defense. Swilling and Jackson not only control the line of scrimmage for the Saints, but their inspirational play also led New Orleans to their first ever playoff spot last season. And this year, they surely will make the Saints the best they can be.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
On our way back to the stadium, I'm Brent Musburger in New York with a reminder that this is Doubleheader Sunday on CBS. Many of you are going to see the San Francisco 49ers at Seattle. Then Washington with Mark Rypien at quarterback. They will play down in Phoenix. And a lot of you are going to see the unbeaten Rams visit Giant Stadium. Now, John Robinson's Rams racked up 9 sacks against the Crosstown Raiders last week. And on offense, running back Greg Bell is the second leading rusher in the NFC. Bill Parcells' defense has got its work cut out for it, and don't be surprised if his quarterback, Phil Simms, comes out firing. The Giants and the Rams later today on CBS. Now let's send you back to the game.
Doubleheader action ahead on CBS. Stay with us for more football here at Lambeau Field. Chicago Bears 17-6, and they're on the doorstep again. 2nd and goal from the 6 with 2:51 remaining in this game. 136th meeting between the Bears and the Packers, and the Packers outgunned, overmanned, 0-3 coming in, but they haven't made it easy. Lots of time for McMahon, and he throws a bad pass to Sanders.
He threw a discretionary pass to Sanders. That time, Jim just tried to put it into the turf somewhere near his receiver because he saw number 97, Tim Harris, was over there along with Ken Stills, number 29. He said, hey, look, I'm just going to put this one into the turf and we'll come back and tee it up again, 3rd down and goal.
Coverage was good in the end zone.
Excellent coverage, yes.
He just had nowhere to go. 3rd and goal. Chuck Cecil and Tiger Green come in now into the secondary. Sean Patterson back in. Carricker. Sanders bursts through and scores. Touchdown.
I told you, you cannot try to tackle this guy around his feet. You got to put a shoulder on him, sink it in there, and try to bring it down. Otherwise, he's going to ruin you on plays just like that one. He just blasted up the middle.
Well, Mike Ditka heads for the Gatorade. This one is safely in hand.
Jim McMahon on the handoff to Thomas Sanders right up the middle. Good blocking up front. Stalemates there taking effect. Hilgenberg gets a great block there on the nose tackle, and Thomas Sanders does the rest with a little high step and a spike at the end.
Kevin Butler with the extra point. And the Chicago Bears, a 24-6 lead with 2:44 to go, and they can now feel comfortable about this one as they will take a 3-1 mark into next week's action. And again, we remind you that as soon as we are off the air here from Green Bay, most of you will see the Rams and the Giants in a biggie. San Francisco at Seattle. And some of you, Washington at Phoenix. The debut of Mark Rypien at quarterback in that game against the Cardinals. Neil Lomax hurting, along with many other quarterbacks in the NFL. We've had a couple of more knocked out of action today. And it's 20-14 in a real dogfight, evidently, at the Metrodome in Minnesota. The Vikings, if they can hang on, would keep pace with the Bears. They'd each be 3-1. Next week, Chicago is at home against those very tough Buffalo Bills.
You see Dallas is back on top of Atlanta after Atlanta lost Chris Kramer to an injury earlier today. Atlanta was leading that game when Kramer left.
Minnesota will be at Miami next week. Green Bay will be down at Tampa Bay. Butler's kickoff. Patrick Scott from 2 yards deep. Over the 15-yard line. And Dante Jones, rookie linebacker from Oklahoma, made the tackle.
Patrick Scott trying desperately to make something happen, takes the ball in 2 yards deep in the end zone, tries to push it out at least over the 20, and he's not even successful doing that. But you got to try to make something happen at this point in the game, and he knows it as well as anybody out there on the field.
Randy Wright comes in at quarterback with a 15-33 passing mark, 15 of 33, 187 yards, 2 interceptions, and a costly one there on the last drive after he made 2 great plays to Sterling Sharp, but wound up with Woodside unable to hold on. The ball deflecting to Sean Gale. Wright, sideliner, in and out of the hands of Perry Kemp. Well, now for another NFL update, let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
Tim, 1:11 to go in Dallas now. This is the go-ahead touchdown. Pelur to Alexander. It's going to be a tough go for the Falcons without the injured Chris Miller. Again, as you've reported, X-rays are negative. He could be back as early as next week. 26-20 Dallas. Back to Tim.
Well, the Cowboys, a questionable team this year, and that will be a big win for them if they can hang on. 2nd and 10 here in Green Bay. Randy Wright. And the blitz on from the safety, Douglas. 6 sacks today by the Chicago Bears. Their defense playing with a vengeance. Even though the offensive line took most of the heat last week, there were complaints about the Bears defense as well. Well, they have been tough today. There'll be a penalty on the play against the defense.
You know, you get that one-on-one coverage because you know those safeties are blitzing. That's the result of it. Somebody grabs a hold of one of those receivers and say, you can't go anywhere.
Well, there's a real UN discussion going on down here on this penalty. Well, we have 2:27 remaining here in the 4th quarter. The Chicago Bears, after falling behind early to the Packers 6-0, have scored 24 consecutive points, and they are headed to a 3-1 mark in the NFC Central Division.
Illegal hands, number 27 defense, first down.
So the penalty against the Bears, Mike Richardson. And that will put the ball at the 21-yard line of Green Bay. First down.
This is a true test for the Packer offensive line now. Keep the pressure off Randy Wright. 2-minute drill.
What a hit on Larry Mason, but he held on to the ball. Second-year man from Troy State, Alabama. Cut earlier and re-signed recently.
And believe me, to his credit, he held onto the ball because
he saw what was coming.
Had a great shot.
And there was no way he didn't know he was going to get hit.
You hear it, you see it, and you feel it before it gets there.
He had a full view of the ball and Richardson all at the same time. Second down, it'll be a long 5 from the 26, just inside the 26 of Green Bay. There's the intense Mike Singletary. Believe me, the score, the clock doesn't mean anything to him. He's out there, he's playing every down like it's the first down in the game. Right, he's got Sterling Sharp. And the rookie having himself a fine day.
He told
Pushed out by Richardson.
He told me yesterday, he said, quite honestly, I'd like to be more involved in the offense because the game before he hadn't gotten any passes thrown to him. And now they've definitely gone to him in this ball game.
The #1 pick from South Carolina. 1:57 to go. The 2-minute warning has sounded. Chicago leading 24-6.
Read any good beer bottles lately? This one tells you that Miller Genuine Draft is the one beer that's cold filtered, not heat pasteurized. So we haven't changed the rich, smooth taste of real draft beer. And you know what's the best thing about reading this bottle? It leads to a very happy ending.
can ride with the wind. When you're one with the road, you can feel every move. You're in control. It's the new spirit. Gotta be the spirit of Dodge. It's the new spirit. The new spirit of Dodge. The new spirit of Dodge.
More profound than words. Diamonds.
Well, let me apologize for the power outage in that Chicago-Green Bay game. Obviously, we'll send you back just as soon as it is restored. Meanwhile, while we have an opportunity, maybe out of here in New York, we can run through the scores for you. 24-6, the Chicago Bears are going to extend their record to 3-1 right now. Meanwhile, Cleveland-Cincinnati is living up to its advanced billing. The Browns have bounced back with a touchdown, and now it is 24-17. The Bengals over the Browns. There is a lot of time left in that game. As for the Buffalo Bills and their lead in the AFC East, they have extended it. And time running down in that one, they're going to beat Pittsburgh. It is now 36-14. New England and Houston. You know, the Oilers, I don't believe, have beaten the Patriots in an awfully long time, but not today. 31-6. The Oilers come back to beat the Patriots, and of course they stay close on the heels of the Cincinnati Bengals, and now that became a final, and we can see that Minnesota over the Eagles is 20-14. That is the count in that game in the fourth quarter. Miami and Indianapolis, and the Dolphins struggling, but they moved to within 2 points, and then time ran out on them. On the Colts, closed them out 15-13. Indianapolis now 1-3. That is the first victory of the season. The New York Jets and Detroit 17-10. The Lions were hanging tough. The Jets have punched in a touchdown to go up by 7 late in the fourth quarter in that one. Tampa Bay and New Orleans, the Saints have won 13-9 over the Buccaneers, the final in that one. So the Saints again put on some pressure against the Los Angeles Rams. And the Cowboys lead the Falcons 26-20 right now. The Falcons were on the move, but the Cowboy defense has hung tough, and time is running down on that one. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS in just a moment.
Here comes today's Duracell battery. And here's yesterday's. Today's are built to last up to 30% longer than the ones we made just a few years back. So you'll be guaranteed a long, happy life. Look for the new Duracell. C&D 4-packs.
Performance. For some people, it's more than a passion. It's a way of life. Well, for all those people for whom good enough just isn't good enough, there's Speed Stick Antiperspirant. Nothing is wider. Nothing glides on drier. Nothing protects you against wetness and odor in a bigger way. All-day performance that's hard to beat. If you're going to give 110%, your antiperspirant should give 110% too. Speed Stick, the wide stick.
Now available in Sport Talc.
By Menon.
You'll find it at the heart of every truck we build. It's on the street and off the road. It's the new spirit of performance.
The top new spirit of Dodge.
Most of my friends don't know what they're going to do after graduation, but I've already locked in guaranteed skill training in the Army. Qualify now and you can reserve even the Army's most sought-after technical training up to 12 months in advance through the Army's delayed entry program. Sure, being a soldier won't be easy, but then nothing worth having ever is.
America, along with Dick Butkus and Irv Cross. I'm Brent Musburger. Those of you who've been watching Green Bay and Chicago, we have had a power outage hit our truck. It is 24-6 right now. We've been unable to restore it. They are inside of a minute and a half left in this game, and the Bears have the ball. So they're very much in control of this game. And, Dick, your feelings about the Bear performance in this one?
Well, I think the offensive line got it together. Whatever Coach Ed Hughes said to them, they just put it together after the first quarter. From then on out, I mean, they just dominated. And also on the other side of the ball, the Bear defense really shut them down, and I think they got their stuff back together a little bit.
Dick, Neil Anderson's great strength as a runner is what?
Well, you know, he's a dancer type guy. I mean, Walter had that strength and everything else, but I think Neil Anderson has that ability to juke pretty good. And when he gets behind that offensive line that they have, it's a real bear to try to cut. No pun intended, but it's a real tough deal to try to tackle that guy because he's like this.
Okay. Well, we want to update everybody on another good game down in Texas. Atlanta and the Cowboys playing down there, and we can show you some action from that contest. You see the final up there. Cowboys winning it, but they were holding on for dear lives. And unfortunately in this game, Chris Miller, the Falcons' outstanding young quarterback, was injured. Many of you saw this play at halftime, the deflected ball winding up in Danny Noonan's hands. He marched on in. Cowboys took a 14-point lead before the rifle arm from Oregon shot the Falcons right back into it. Look at that bomb. And I mean on the money to Stacey Bailey. He went in. It was a 68-yard score. That made it 14-7. Then the injury bug hit. Riggs was knocked out. Then Miller was scrambling in the end zone. He was buried under a host of Cowboys. And Irv, what was the report on his injury?
First, he went and X-rayed it, and X-rays were negative, Brent. As it turns out, he has a sprained ankle. He could very well come back next week.
Then Steve Puller rallied the Cowboys, hitting Alexander. Was that off the wrong foot, Dick?
It looked like it was, but he had that zip on it. You know what I mean? He didn't float it up there.
But the game came down to the last particular play. Now, behind Steve Dills, the Falcons were rallying. They had moved down the field. This was it, and the Cowboys got a rush on Dills, and it was all over as Dallas smothered the ball. Somebody fall on it.
Okay, there he goes.
There it is, coming to an end, and they win it 26-20 was the final on that one. Now, let's take a... We have a picture back, we are told, from Lambeau Field. Is that correct, gentlemen? We do indeed have picture restored. So let's send you back now to Tim Ryan. Tim, take it away.
All right, Brent, thank you for the fill. We had a little power problem here, as I'm sure you've noted to our viewers. 47 seconds remain in the game. The Bears have the ball and the lead. The Packers have taken 2 consecutive timeouts, down 24-6 in this final minute. They were stopped on their last series, tried on 4th down to complete a pass. Bears stopped it. Tomczak is in at quarterback, and he goes deep downfield for Wendell Davis, the rookie, incomplete. But we have 40 seconds still to play. Tim Ryan with Dan Jiggets. Tomczak just coming in to mop up here for the Bears. Jim McMahon left 10 of 18, 114 yards, 2 interceptions. Neil Anderson rushed for 103 yards today on 19 carries, 2 touchdowns. And the rushing game of the Bears was really the difference, as they will move to 3-1. And the Green Bay Packers under the new coach Lindy Infante will fall to 0-4. But they fought a game fight here today because they had a lot of injuries. They're missing their 2 starting inside linebackers, Brian Noble, the holdout, Johnny Holland with a quadricep injury, and they played the Bears tougher than the score would indicate. Neil Anderson gets a couple of yards here on 2nd down, out to the 40-yard line. Burnell Dent made the tackle, number 56, and you're seeing the final seconds ticking off. Dan, impressions?
I think you're exactly right. The Green Bay Packers played extremely tough up here, playing in the Chicago Bears. And it is a reflection of the attitude of this team. They're not going to give up on themselves because now they're 0-4. They're going to play every opponent they face tough. Now the Bears, by the other hand, came back, and offensively they really produced for Mike Ditka and his crew. That Bear offensive line took it to the Packers today.
Well, and for Randy Wright today, 19 of 41, 242 yards, suffered 2 interceptions. The rookie Sterling Sharp caught 7 passes. For Dan Jiggets, this is Tim Ryan saying so long from Lambeau Field in Green Bay, where the final score, the Chicago Bears 24, the Green Bay Packers 6. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after these words from your local station.
United Airlines
from the ground up, rededicated to giving you the service you deserve. Come fly the friendly skies.
When you look for champions, you look to CBS Sports.
Here's what the critics are saying about Wise Guy. It's a tough, gritty, fast-paced show. If you want intrigue, danger, and double dealing, watch Ken Wall in Wise Guy, Wednesdays.
This is CBS.
I'll get it, Alex.
Mel's Market. Here's your order.
What order?
Side of beef.
I didn't order.
Here's your delivery, sir.
What delivery?
Your Stroh's 30 packs.
Stroh's. Alex?
Nah. Stroh's and Stroh Light. Fire brewed for smooth, consistent taste. And with 30 packs, you get more beer.
Pardon? Guess that shop. Here's your poodle. Oh.
Alex.
Prepare your television for a special delivery from Heritage Cablevision.
Heritage Cablevision, this is Sue. May I help you?
And that's what you'll hear if you call now and save 50% on installation to Cablevision, HBO, or Cinemax. Call Heritage Cablevision now. Operators will be on duty till 12 midnight, but this is the final day. And remember, for every order taken, we'll donate $1 to Special Olympics. So call now and save money.
Call now. Heritage Cablevision. We deliver 24 hours a day.
I work hard for my money and feel very uncomfortable spending it around pushy salespeople. That's why I bought my last 5 Hondas from Putnam. Putnam salespeople gave me the time and space I needed to make my own decision. And with prices hundreds less than Basney, Putnam and Honda were just an unbeatable combination for me.
That feeling, special feeling never ends at Putnam Honda, Mazda, Volkswagen.
Capricorn 1, Sunday at 10:45.
Stage 2 is green.
2 over here. So they get 7 guys up in front, 2 linemen, and 5 linebackers. That's what they call their Eagle defense. That's the first time they ran it. Giroux, the linebacker, becomes a nose tackle.
3rd down. And about 5.5. Here comes the rush. Sims just throws it on the ground. Mel Owens. Right in Sims' face. Chicago beat Green Bay 24-6. That's the final. Those of you who watched that victory, welcome to Giants Stadium, where it's 0-0 in the first quarter between the Rams and the Giants. At Summerall with John Madden. Maury Buford to punt for the Giants. Johnny Johnson. And again, flags go everywhere. This time they caught Bart Oates.
That's what John Robinson complained about the first time. He said Oates moved, and I bet he was complaining he moved his head, not the ball.
False start, 65 offense. Still 4th down.
Let's watch Oates here. Now, does he move his head? Now, he can look up, then he can come back. You have to be able to do that. Then he comes up again. Now, I don't know that there's anything wrong with that. I think the center has to be able to move his head.
Double pump. They blocked it. The Rams have always rushed hard. Sean Miller made the recovery. Alvin Wright is the man who blocked it.
Yeah, I was talking to the Rams special teams coach before the game, Artie Gigantino, and he told me, he says, we can block a punt against this guy. He said, Maury Buford holds the ball too long. They went for it the first time, and they got called for being offside. Now, this is the second time they punt. Watch him, he just comes straight up the middle. No one blocks him. He's right in Buford's face. I think you have to get that thing blocked.
I can't figure what the deep back was doing. He didn't block anybody.
No, they just let him run by. It was Gary Reasons, and he just ran right by Gary Reasons. Reasons must have been turning out.
In any case, the Rams take over at the Giant 28. That's the front 3. Those are the linebackers, Cooks, Reason, Carson, and Banks. Jim Everett with Greg Bell, the lone setback, and Everett going right to work. Damone Johnson is tight end, makes the reception for a gain of 7. Reasons on the stop. Third and about a half yard. Robert Cox, who was a tackle, is lined up at tight end. Laying off the ball. Here's Bell, first down. Coach a runner, and he spends a lot of time individually. Here's Bell. This time wrapped up by Dorsey after a gain of only a yard. Passing down. Aaron Cox and Henry Ellard both split wide right. I think they're a man short. And Everett doesn't like what he sees and calls a timeout. Inside the 15.
You know what happened on that last play, Pat, is the Rams didn't have an outside receiver on the left side, which would have made the tackle eligible, which would have been an illegal formation. They had to call timeout.
Buford McGee this time as the lone setback. Holohan was the man in motion. Everett gets it out to Holohan inside the 5. Touchdown.
A guy who has really impressed this Ram team. They just got him this year in a trade from San Diego. They call him Mr. Hustle. They call him Mr. Dependable. They call him Big Play Guy. All those things. I think John Robinson and Everett both talk more about Pete Holohan than anyone on this team. He's just a big play guy. He always gets open, always catches. He's caught 9 passes this year. 8 of them were for first down.
And now he's holding for the extra point by Lansford, which is perfect. So 7:19 remaining in the first quarter with the kickoff return. Larry Kelm made the stop, 23 yards on the return for Mark Ingram.
When they get down there in the goal line, Holohan goes out for a pass and no one covers him. They're really getting caught off balance.